People care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
If you had told anyone a few years ago that Blake Lively, famous for her radiant smile, designer gowns, and effortlessly charming interviews, would become the center of one of Hollywood's most puzzling scandals, they'd have called it impossible. Yet here we are, watching her once pristine image collide with allegations, leaked texts, and ultimately the abrupt resignation of her own attorney. In a matter of months, the actress known for seemingly angelic poise has become the subject of swirling rumors that range from startling claims about control on set to a legal strategy that went dangerously off course. As the dust settles, the question remains: how did someone so admired and seemingly untouchable find herself in a place where her own lawyer walked away, and made it very clear why? Blake Lively's entrance into Hollywood came wrapped in sparkle. She projected a sunny, approachable persona at red carpet events, never shying from a clever joke or a bit of lighthearted self-deprecation. Fans lauded her as relatable, even as she was regularly appearing on best-dressed lists and landing glossy magazine features. On the surface, it seemed there was no role or runway look she couldn't master. That down-to-earth vibe was precisely why she became such a media darling. She was the actress who could pull off ultra-glamour on-screen, then turn around and poke fun at herself on social media. Adding to the enchantment was her highly publicized marriage to Ryan Reynolds. Two formed a power couple that always seemed to be in sync, trading playful jabs online that left fans swooning. But, as is often the case in show business, some of the most compelling drama occurs behind the scenes. Even for a star who held her private life close to the vest, a single project had the power to unravel everything. The adaptation of a best-selling novel seemed like just another feather in her cap, until it took a turn for the turbulent. In the beginning, nobody suspected that the new film, It Ends With Us, would become ground zero for tension. Blake's public image, so carefully maintained and protected, was about to face a level of scrutiny she'd never experienced before. For years, she'd seemed immune to the uglier side of press speculation. Suddenly, she found herself in a feud that extended far beyond typical Hollywood rumors and straight into legal territory. What happened next was enough to shake even her most devoted fans. But that wasn't the whole story. It Ends With Us was no ordinary book-to-film endeavor. Adapted from a novel that already had a fervent global readership, the project carried massive expectations. Readers imagined it as a poignant, deeply emotional story with the potential to resonate on screen. While a major actress like Blake Lively stepping into a key role was exciting, it was director and co-writer Justin Baldoni who promised to be the catalyst for an unforgettable adaptation. From the start, Justin's track record for heartfelt storytelling was a draw. His background in television and film reflected a focus on empathy, authenticity, and uplifting narratives.
That ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent, and they were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
Fans of the novel hoped his sensibilities would do justice to a book that tackled raw human emotions. Meanwhile, Blake's star power practically guaranteed the film free publicity. Any mention of her involvement drew millions of clicks. Early promotional interviews had an almost fairy tale quality to them. Both Blake and Justin discussed their excitement, praising each other's dedication to the story. The synergy appeared so seamless that no one might have guessed any trouble brewing beneath the surface. But in Hollywood, synergy can slip away faster than a camera flash. As filming began, rumors trickled out about creative disagreements. Justin's triple role as director, co-writer, and actor gave him an unmistakable influence. Some whispers suggested that Blake felt overshadowed, irritated that her own creative input wasn't taking center stage. Others claimed Justin was simply trying to keep the production unified around a common vision. Till fans remained blissfully unaware. From the outside looking in, It Ends With Us seemed on track for success. The script was in good hands, the cast was star-studded, and the hype was tangible. Nobody realized that behind the scenes, two strong personalities might be heading for a collision. And what came next would shock everyone. The first sign of unrest surfaced in the form of cryptic comments from set insiders. Word had it that Blake felt Justin was controlling too many aspects of filming, even telling her how to phrase certain lines or position herself in promotional photos. Meanwhile, Justin's team insisted he was only making standard directorial choices, especially for a film that required cohesive storytelling. In typical Hollywood fashion, tiny sparks turned into blazing headlines. Tabloids reported that tensions were high, with both stars trying to shape the narrative of the film, and possibly their own images, before things got out of hand. Blake was rumored to be displeased about marketing materials, wanting more emphasis on her presence. People close to Justin claimed he was baffled by her complaints, believing he had done everything possible to ensure a respectful, collaborative environment. As media murmurs increased, Blake addressed them indirectly in interviews, blaming gossip for spreading lies about her. She described feeling besieged by stories she never authorized, hinting that someone, though she wouldn't say who, was feeding false tidbits to the press. For his part, Justin avoided naming names. To junkets, he'd steer conversation back to the themes of the book and the importance of empathy in storytelling. Observers on social media noted that while Blake was simmering publicly, Justin seemed calm, perhaps too calm. Was he oblivious to the conflict, or was he managing it quietly, waiting for the storm to pass? Behind the scenes, tension apparently soared. Assistants reported last-minute script changes and disagreements over set protocols. A few bystanders claimed that the friction was normal for a big production. But others sensed this was more than typical Hollywood drama.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. We had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yes.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than people who are indifferent.
Two powerful figures were on a collision course, and it was only a matter of time before reality spilled out. Yet the drama was only getting started. In the midst of mounting frustration, a mysterious figure leaked private text messages to a popular entertainment site. These messages purportedly showed Blake making demands to the production team, referencing her so-called dragons, an influential network of friends and colleagues she threatened to unleash if her needs weren't met. She mentioned Ryan Reynolds by name, implying she could enlist bigger Hollywood powerhouses to sway marketing campaigns or press angles. Initially, the press ran wild with the story. Some publications cast her as a controlling diva, others as a savvy star using her clout. Blake fired back, alleging that Justin himself was behind the leak. She claimed he orchestrated these revelations to make her look paranoid and vindictive. Also, he could keep full control over the project's creative direction. Then, the real bombshell landed. Blake's legal team released selected snippets of text exchanges they said proved Justin was belittling her concerns, especially concerning personal comfort on set after childbirth. Certain lines made him appear dismissive, even insensitive. These texts were genuine and unedited. They painted Justin in a harsh light. But Justin's team countered quickly. They uploaded what they described as the full, unredacted transcripts. In many places, the alleged belittling remarks were shown to be taken out of context or edited to omit his empathetic responses. One message in particular, where Blake claimed Justin walked into her trailer without warning, turned out to be a half-truth. The unredacted exchange revealed she'd invited him in at that exact time. Emojis, laughter, and other clarifying remarks had been conspicuously removed from the version Blake's side presented. Suddenly, the focus shifted. Was Blake intentionally twisting the evidence? Or had she been misled by an overzealous legal team compiling her defense? Whatever the reason, fans and observers found themselves in the midst of a murky swirl of competing narratives.
Blase.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us.
Yeah.
that make us human. That's it.
It is.
It's
And
very simple.
Both sides accused the other of staging a smear campaign, while those leaked texts turned every movie lover into an amateur detective, sifting through partial truths to find any semblance of clarity. However, the biggest shock was yet to come. Hollywood is no stranger to lawsuits or messy disputes, but when a high-profile attorney publicly walks away from a star client, that's a different level of drama. Blake's lawyer had built a reputation representing some of the biggest names in the business, steering them safely through divorces, contract battles, and the occasional scandal. Their departure from Blake's case sent immediate shockwaves through the industry. Instead of quietly filing a motion to withdraw, the attorney released a carefully worded statement that hinted at ethical concerns. They spoke of having seen evidence that did not align with Blake's public claims. They even suggested that certain text messages and testimonies led them to believe her allegations might be less than reliable. It was a stark, public rebuke from a legal professional bound by confidentiality, someone who would typically say nothing at all beyond irreconcilable differences. Speculation went wild. Did the lawyer see something too damning to ignore?
But I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of
it's
both.
like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, you know, kind of like my outfit, I guess.
Were there concerns of potential legal or ethical consequences if they continued representing her? Insiders whispered that the lawyer's loyalty to Blake was outweighed by a responsibility to the truth, particularly if documents demonstrated contradictions in her story. Overnight, media outlets changed their headlines. The spotlight turned from Justin's bullying to "Why did Blake's attorney really quit?" Everyone, from casual fans to industry veterans, recognized this as a significant pivot. If even her own lawyer doubted her story, was there something deeper lurking beneath the surface? For Justin, it was a bizarre twist of fate that suddenly worked in his favor. He no longer needed to prove anything when the person who'd been championing Blake's claims decided they could no longer stand by them. As for Blake, she found herself in an even more precarious position, one in which her every word and motive faced intensified skepticism. But the fallout was only beginning. The moment the attorney exited, fans and critics alike found themselves forced to pick a side, or at least try to figure out which story was closer to the truth. Across social media, people were torn. Some continued to defend Blake, insisting that a powerful female figure in Hollywood often faces disproportionate backlash, and that maybe her attorney had a hidden motive for walking away. Others felt betrayed, claiming they'd admired her for years only to discover she might have been spinning a narrative far removed from reality. Industry professionals began to speak up as well. A few crew members from It Ends With Us shared anecdotes that contradicted Blake's accusations. One said she had demanded multiple reshoots under the guise of creative perfection, only to turn around and blame the production for lacking mental health guidelines.
I think the idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
Another recalled that tension soared whenever she wasn't consulted on even minor script tweaks. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, once cast as the alleged antagonist, found himself unexpectedly vindicated. He'd gone from quietly releasing evidence to watching his adversary's counsel step away. For a man known for championing empathy and understanding, this chapter was surreal. He maintained composure in interviews, sidestepping any direct gloating but making it clear he felt the truth was on his side. Still, Hollywood loves a dramatic storyline, and curiosity about Blake's next move took hold. Would she double down on her claims, risking more public exposure? Or would she let the dispute fade from the headlines at the cost of her credibility? Answers remained elusive, but one thing was certain. The actress who once controlled her image so skillfully now struggled to distance herself from what people were calling one of Tinseltown's biggest backstage fiascos. Yet the consequences would reach even further. As of now, the future of this tangled affair remains uncertain. Should Blake decide to press forward with any legal action, new depositions or revelations could surface, once again thrusting her personal and professional life into intense scrutiny. Hollywood's rumor mill is already spinning with speculation about whether other attorneys will take her case, or if they too will deem it a toxic endeavor. For Justin Baldoni, there's a sense of relief, and perhaps a touch of exhaustion. What started as a passion project to adapt a beloved novel transformed into a test of integrity under a harsh public spotlight. Nonetheless, he seems more confident about forging ahead, potentially turning the upheaval into a cautionary tale for how behind-the-scenes conflicts can spiral when trust breaks down. Other stakeholders in the project, from co-stars to producers, tread carefully in the current climate. Some quietly voice relief that the avalanche of negativity appears to be ebbing. Others brace for the possibility that more unexpected twists might emerge. After all, celebrity feuds rarely die quickly, especially when they hinge on alleged lies, threatened lawsuits, and one side's high-profile professional meltdown. Blake, for her part, faces a crossroads. She can attempt to clear her name, but she'll have to reconcile that effort with her attorney's public departure, a moment that unequivocally planted seeds of doubt. Alternatively, she may choose to move on quietly, hoping that future projects and goodwill from her fan base can overshadow this controversy. But Hollywood has a long memory when it comes to epic showdowns. The abrupt break with a trusted legal representative remains the most damning evidence against her. If indeed she misrepresented events on set, she'll have to answer for that. Justin Baldoni was unfairly targeted. The industry might rally around him for enduring the storm with measured resolve. In the end, this entire saga underscores a stark reality. No amount of star power or carefully curated persona can withstand revelations that clash with verifiable facts. Here, it wasn't even Justin's side that delivered the final blow. It was Blake's own attorney, whose words spoke volumes in their brevity. And it left everyone, from curious fans to hardened insiders, pondering how quickly an unshakable facade can crumble when the spotlight turns glaringly bright. Blake Lively was once adored for her warmth and style, someone who seemed perfectly orchestrated yet genuinely approachable. Now she's become the center of a swirling dispute that's cast a shadow on everything people admired about her. Though Hollywood's tapestry of scandals is vast, seldom do we see a star's own legal counsel exit in such a dramatic and revealing fashion. This twist serves as a cautionary tale about the fragile nature of public personas. In an industry powered by perception, a single misstep or misrepresentation can dismantle a long-cultivated image. For those who once idolized Blake, this controversy raises unsettling questions. Was their beloved celebrity truly the down-to-earth individual they believed her to be? Or was she just more adept than most at controlling the narrative until one project's pressures proved otherwise? One thing's certain: the fallout from this affair won't soon be forgotten. Whether Blake attempts a comeback or opts to retreat into quieter ventures, she'll do so under the scrutinizing gaze of fans and colleagues alike. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni stands in a peculiar place of vindication, having weathered accusations only to be bolstered by the very professional who once advocated for the opposing side. Ultimately, the saga offers a riveting reminder that in Hollywood, where illusions and curated images reign supreme, a conflict's outcome can pivot on a single revelation. Sometimes all it